Hi, everybody. Welcome to another video as part of Cornell iGEM's educational video series. Today, we'll be discussing making popping boba. So you might have seen in your local bubble tea shop, mango popping boba, like lychee popping boba, or something similar. And today, we'll be discussing and showing you how to make it yourself. So before we get into that, first we want to discuss sort of our project, what Cornell iGEM is currently doing, and how it relates. So Cornell iGEM is currently making this project called ENERGEM, and we're trying to making these very important chemicals known as methylxanthines. Now, methylxanthines are super important in many different industries. They're important in medicine, they're important in agriculture, and they even have some importance in dietary supplements, right? As such, we are looking to make a much faster and cheaper way to make these chemicals and increase the amount of methylxanthine created in a traditional synthesis cycle. So we're basically just trying to make it a lot more of it to have increased accessibility. Now, I mentioned methylxanthine already, but like, what is it, right? So a methylxanthine is an extremely important type of chemical. I didn't mention this before, but methylxanthine is actually a class of chemical. It's not just one singular type of one singular chemical, right? So there are many different types of methylxanthines. The ones that ENERGEM is focusing on is paraxanthine and 7-methylxanthine. These different methylxanthines are derivatives, meaning they are chemicals that can be basically created from other chemicals, like a sort of stepwise pathway. This chemical class in particular is derived from caffeine, like the daily caffeine in coffee, energy drinks, and the like. Now, I sort of mentioned methylxanthine applications previously, such as medicine and agriculture, but like, what specifically does it help with, right? So in medicine, methylxanthines can help with asthma, nearsightedness, blood circulation, and even increasing your brain power. While in agriculture, it helps with such as insect repellent, maybe preventing fungi from growing, and even helping stimulate some bees for honey growth and the like, right? And now getting to the fun part, right? The popping boba part. So how does this science work behind the idea of popping boba, right? So this is where it all ties into the concept of spherification. So spherification is used to trap liquids inside of this sort of like squishy sphere. These spheres can trap many things from like certain solutions to proteins to even juices, right? We are using spherification specifically in ENERGEM to help increase our production of methylxanthine. So we are trapping proteins in the spheres to use to help create these sort of chemicals, right? Spherification is commonly used in food sciences, otherwise known as the process of molecular gastronomy. And we will be using this concept to help us create popping boba. So now let's get into the fun part, right? What do we need for popping boba? We're gonna need your favorite drink, right? This is what you're gonna use as the inside of the popping boba. So when you bite into it, there's that gush of your favorite drink. We're also gonna need some like sodium alginate. Sodium alginate acts as a thickener, so the juice inside can be stronger concentrated when the eventual squishy film forms around it and encases or surrounds the drink. We also need calcium chloride. Calcium chloride helps basically activate the sodium alginate. The sodium alginate can't really work without that calcium chloride to help get the ball rolling so the membrane can form around the liquid. Finally, we're going to need some sodium citrate if you are using a juice that has more calcium like a fruit juice, right? This sodium citrate helps prevent any unintended chemical reactions so your juice doesn't become like too rubbery, too sticky, and we want the perfect consistency. This all can be either found online or can be found in your local, maybe your local food store, right? Now, next we're gonna talk about and show the demo for making this popping boba. Stay tuned. So, in this experiment, we're using Coke as our liquid for the popping boba, but you can use any liquid you'd like. Here, we're adding 5 grams of sodium alginate, which will soon react with the liquid and thicken it into a gel.
This sodium alginate is derived from algae and as such is safe and vegan friendly. So we gradually add it while stirring to make sure all of it gets dissolved properly. You might need another hand that continuously stirs while you add in order to make sure all of it gets dissolved. Make sure not to spill. And as you see, we're continuously adding and just making sure that we take our time. So now we have added all of it and make sure to continue stirring until all of it's dissolved. Now leave it in the fridge for 2 hours. Next, we take a liter of water and start adding our calcium chloride to make a setting bath. This calcium chloride is supposed to firm up the gel once it's dropped in. As mentioned before, when you add the calcium chloride, what it basically does on a molecular level is it replaces the sodium in the sodium alginate and Coke mixture. Once it replaces it, similar to the last video about polymers, the calcium links together in a sort of chain, creating that thicker skin in the popping boba. So, as you see, we mix until all of it's dissolved. Here we're adding some sugar to help with the process. It adds a bit of sweetness, but works to increase the density of the water so the boba has a rounder shape. Now here's the fun part. Take a dropper or a syringe and use it to suck up your sodium alginate mixture. Be very careful here, especially if you want to make a lot of boba. And now we just drop it in. As you see, when we add the liquid, it stays in its droplet form and doesn't disperse throughout the bath. Make sure you're dropping one droplet at a time so you don't get any long boba and change its shape, but you can make different shapes if you want to. And as you see, we're continually adding droplets and you see them stay in their perfectly round shape. And now to just take it out, we're using a fork to carefully scoop out the popping boba. And you see them, they're pretty round, they're pretty similar to what you find in a common boba shop. And you are done. So make sure to wash them out one more time and thank you for watching.